And it's Ken Kraetzer for Sons of American Legion Radio, RallyPoint.com at West Point. Have a chance to talk to the head coach of Army football, Jeff Monken. And, Coach, a couple of days now you've had the players out in pads in your training camp. How has it been going with that?
We've made some improvements from the last time we were out here. We took the day off yesterday, which was probably we were probably about due. We had been out there 5 days, had finished our first day in pads, which unfortunately didn't go like I had hoped it would. But today was an improvement. Not yet what we need it to be, but certainly an improvement.
Well, today we talked a little bit with Kel Walker, and you've got a couple of veterans as running backs this year, and you got some new players coming in. We talked to Anthony Atkins today. What are you looking for from your running back so far on the offense?
That whole unit, the whole offensive unit, just has to work together and keep the ball moving in the direction we need it to, and that's what we did so well last year. We didn't have a whole bunch of really big plays. We just had a bunch of drives with a lot of plays in them, and that's kind of the formula for us, just little bits at a time. Having Slomka and McCoy back at B-back is great. Having Walker and Hobbs back at slot, I think, is going to help us, just having some experience. So there's enough guys that have played that I think if they play as well as they're capable of, it'll at least give us a chance.
If you would tell us a little bit about the offensive line, you've got, I think, the big, a new center coming in. Jack Sides played quite a bit in the preseason. How do you see the center position? You've got some big guards this year too.
I don't know how that's all going to play out. Today, Peyton Reeder was playing some center and Jack Sides at guard, and it's been the other way around. Jack's played center and Peyton at guard. So we'll see as we go through preseason camp just how it all shakes out. But Jackson Deaton, Powell, Herndon, Hunter. There's a lot of bodies there, guys that have played and been in games. Not all of them were regular starters, but enough guys that have some experience. So hopefully, again, like those other guys I mentioned, hopefully that's going to be a positive for us.
And how do you feel about your tackles? You've got Hunter coming back this year, played a lot last year for you. Alex Herndon we saw in the spring. How do you feel about the tackle positions?
I think we've got enough guys that we're going to be able to have maybe 3 guys that can rotate through at that position, and if they'll stay healthy, I think we'll be in good shape. Mike Johnson's a guy that's played a lot of football. I didn't mention him, but he's played tackle and guard, and is playing some of both right now during preseason camp. So we'll just, like I said, we'll just see how it goes and how it all shakes out.
And your wide receivers, we've seen Cam Harrison make some big plays, KJ Klein. How do you feel about your wide receivers? They're certainly going to be doing a lot of blocking for you.
There's some veteran guys there too. The 2 that you mentioned, along with Christian Hayes, Mike Roberts, and Sean Eckert are 2 freshmen with really good, or were freshmen a year ago, or sophomores now, that have really good size and gotten some games last year. There's some players over there that, as you said, I think are big enough and physical enough that will be able to help us in the run game, which is the major portion of what we do.
And, Coach, on Saturday, I guess you have a scrimmage scheduled. What will be some of the things fans come out to watch that they can look for as you're getting through one of your first scrimmages of the preseason?
We're going to play everybody. The freshmen will have times in the scrimmage where they're going to get to go out there and go against each other. We'll probably sprinkle in a little bit of special teams. That gives us a chance to evaluate some players playing in space, and especially for the young guys. The young guys certainly aren't as far along in the playbook as the older players are, and oftentimes it limits what we can call on defense or on offense. But on a special team, they can run and play really fast, and that's a great evaluation tool for us. So we'll likely sprinkle some of that in.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
I saw a few good plays from Ortiz Hobbs. You told me that he's bulked up over the summer. Can you just tell me what your impressions have been of him for this past week?
I've been really excited about the way he's practiced, and that's just a carryover from the fall. I thought he was playing really well at the end of the season, played really well in the bowl game, and he's a guy that's developed in the program. Was a prep school guy and came in here and grew and got stronger, and just he's a veteran type guy now, and it's fun to see a guy develop like that.
On the defensive side of the ball, are there any guys that have stood out to you the past day or two? Or I know Jack King made a good play today, knocking down a ball. Are there any guys standing out?
He did. There's all the recognizable names, guys like McClinton and Riley and Covington and Christensen, certainly all those guys. But Cedric Cunningham, who's a sophomore, played a little bit as a freshman. We're really excited about him. The outside linebacker position is obviously going to have some new faces, and that's sorting itself out. Jack King's the guy that we're really excited about how he's grown and developed. He struggled with injury his first 2 years, had a really good year last year, particularly on special teams, and has grown and bulked up, and excited to watch him. And as in terms of who the other guy is going to be, I think it's going to be a little bit of a battle there. Joe Stevenson has played some at outside backer, a lot on special teams. So those are some guys that I think we've seen, and we've talked about Eric Smith a lot. You and I have, and through the spring, and I'm really excited about him. I think he's one of our best football players, physical and tough, and he'll be a great complement in there with Christensen on the inside.
Seems like there's a good group of sophomores that you've spoken about on the defense that are really taking that next step.
I hope so. There's a lot of seniors that are playing this year. I mentioned two guys in the secondary, along with Cam Jones and Ryan Velez, and up front, I said Covington, but Rod Stoddard, who's been in the program, Christensen, who's a senior, Ryan Parker. There's a lot of guys on that defense that have been around a long time, and after this season, we're going to have to fill in the holes there, and so I'm glad there's some names that we're able to call out that are going to make some contributions this year that will be able to kind of, I guess, carry the torch into next season.
I saw McClinton was injured a little bit. Do you think he'll be fine?
Oh, he'll be fine. Throughout his career, he's had things that have slowed him down, but he just always finds a way to play, and he seems to play his very best football when Saturday afternoon hits. He plays really well in games, makes plays, and so I hope he will a bunch this year for us.